you're very welcome back to the show this Wednesday evening with the country boy Tommy Rosney, taking it through until midnight with some country music. That was my good friend Gary McEvoy from a brand new song. Well, it's an old song, but a brand new version of it that he's recorded over in Nashville. And he's here to talk to me about the new album and indeed about what's happening in the music world as well. Gary, you're very welcome indeed. How's it going?
How you doing, Tommy? It's great to be here in Highland again. It's a long time since I was up here. Thanks for having us tonight. Looking forward to the chat. You know,
it's funny, the first time I saw you up here, it was with the late Brendan Maxwell. You were doing the Garrett Brooks tribute at the time.
That's right. I remember Brent. Brent was a brilliant character, absolutely. And he was played a great part in giving me a start in the music business, going back a long time. I have to be thankful to Brenton for a lot now. And my music career at the beginning, you know, he's an absolute gentleman and a great talented musician himself.
Come here, when did you start off first? Because I know when the Garrett Brooks tribute thing came on, when Garrett Brooks hit Ireland first, you were the first Garrett Brooks tribute.
We were the first Garrett Brooks tribute. I started out, actually, I think it was around 1997 that I entered a karaoke competition.
Yeah.
And I was second, and I thought, God, you know this, I'll always love music, you know. And I thought, you know, maybe we might be able to do something here, you know. And we started off, and I was a massive Garrett Brooks fan. So, and as we listened to Garrett Brooks all along, and all throughout sort of that, he was at the very, very early stages there as well. And his first album, the first two albums, I was like every day listening to them. And then I thought, you know what, I wouldn't mind trying a bit of this. And we put the Stetson on and got all the stuff and got a bit of a band together, and away we went, and people loved it, you know.
Yeah, it must have took a little bit of organising at the beginning to think, you know, what show are we going to do, what songs are we going to pick for an hour and a half or 2 hours?
There was no bother picking songs, Tommy, because all the songs were brilliant. You know, obviously you couldn't do 2 full hour show at that time.
Yeah.
But you get a good hour anyway, you know, of all the hits off the, you know, first 2 albums. We loved it. It was just like a breath of fresh air in my lifetime around then, you know, because I was trying different things to try and make a living. And when I went into music, singing Garrett Brooks, it was just fantastic. Life was great, you know. Great fun.
And what happened then when the Garrett Brooks gig ran its course?
Well, when you do a tribute act, you probably always want to go in your own direction. You always want to be your own person. I'm sure every tribute act would agree there. So I then, you know, I obviously play guitar and a few different instruments, and I put a band together then, doing some country and rock and roll. And there was a promoter in Belfast picked us up, David Hull, and we'd get some corporate gigs and around all the hotels and stuff, and sort of snowball from there. And you know, but you still had to push it. You still had to go looking for work. Always had to go looking for work, no matter, you know, how well you were doing. And it just went on from there, Tommy, really. And life was great. I had about 25 years in music business, and for about 15 years I was on the road, you know, on the hard road, as they say, all over the UK and further afield, you know. And we had a great time. And then obviously the traveling was really a big part of, you know, if you have a big band sort of locally, there's not enough gigs really to keep you going. You have to move out and I just ended up the traveling was too much, you know, and I says, you know, I'm going to try and mix it up with the shows a wee bit, you know, with the Garrett Brooks thing, with the country thing, and a bit of rock and roll, and play more local and see a wee bit more of my family, and that's basically the way it worked, you know.
And what was a great local gig was the year or two before the pandemic, Peter's Bar in St. Johnson.
Oh, brilliant.
For, yourself and John Dolan and a pile of local musicians got together on a Tuesday night, and the place was packed.
That was fantastic, Tommy. We had some brilliant nights down there, and we should do more of it. It wasn't for the wages he'd been getting out of there, because there was none. It was about the love of the music, of the music, really. And sure, all the top acts came and loved doing that spot on a Tuesday night. So we should do one again somewhere. You know, that was fantastic. fantastic.
Come here, I want to talk to you now about the project you're working on at the moment. I know you were out in Nashville there in 2019 before the pandemic, and you recorded 2 of the 5 songs you have out at the moment. And when did you get this idea to record
Well,
out in Nashville?
I'll tell you what, I was after the pandemic. It was actually last November, Tommy. My good friend of mine, John Dolan, I'm sure a lot of listeners know John. John was always on to me, Gary, come on to Nashville. And I could never get the time with my work and stuff. And eventually, I says to Sharon, my wife, I says, look, you look after things at home. I'm going to go to Nashville because I always wanted to go to Nashville. And away we set off, myself and John and a few of the lads, Big T, and Mike Moriarty from Kerry, and Roger Ryan. A lot of the lads, they're fantastic lads.
And still do it.
And they still do it, yeah. In fact, they're booked again for November. And I went out to Nashville not knowing what to expect, and it was absolutely fantastic. And it brought the love of American country music back to me again, because it's not that I love music, absolutely love it to bits, but when you're listening to music to learn songs, to go to your job, it's like work. And, I had to retrain myself to go to listen to music now for enjoyment.
Yeah.
Because it was always for a work reason, really. And it's since I basically retired from doing gigs, I have started to listen to music more often now for enjoyment. And went to Nashville, and I said, God, we have to do something here. And John said to me, why don't you go to the studio and record a couple of songs? And I said, it's a great idea. And he got it all sorted out for me. And we went and we used all the top musicians. And
they're great, aren't they, musicians?
Fantastic.
I remember I was out one year and I went out to a studio with Trevor Lowery.
Yeah.
And he had 3 songs that he was going to record, and he had the original versions on tape, and he just let your man in the studio hear them, and the musicians were writing down their A, B, C, D.
Their notes, yeah.
And then they said,
numbers.
go into the booth, and he went in and they just
played it. You see, that's the thing I like about the players. A lot of studios here, what happens is, the guys play along with a click track, and then they record it, and then the next guy comes on a week later or 2 weeks later, and then he plays and stuff like that. But the guys who were there, the only man's on the click track's the drummer, and the rest of them are all playing.
Yeah.
Now, that's great. That's a great feeling. You get a great feel. But I don't think they give you the time to mix it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They get it done for you and say, there you go, away you go, brilliant job. So I sort of seen this happening, and I said, to the engineer there, look, could you give me the stems, which is, all the recordings, and I can take it back home and spend some time on it. So a good friend of mine and Brian Kerrigan, I said that we'd done some work before on my son's record. I said to Brian, look, can we mix this together? And he says, no problem, Gary. He says, look, I'll work away here, and we'll keep in contact with each other over the phone and up and down, and we'll change this and change that. And he did up there in Harmony Studios right here in Letterkenny, and Brian done a fabulous job of mixing. Once we got it mixed, we sent it back to Georgetown Masters and Music Row in Nashville, and they mastered it all for us. So there's a good wee bit of Irish flavour in there as engineers here as well,
Yeah, come here. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with another song, and we'll talk about it then, okay?
Okay, Tommy. Yeah.
The world is getting a little more. But maybe more could mean something else. More means more proactive green energy solutions. More means more wind turbines and more recycling. More means more biodiversity and more energy storage. More means more hydrogen and more solar farms, because more clean energy means more efficient living, means more thriving communities, means more energy autonomy. That's why we're more than Mona. Learn more at morethanmona.ie. Ford Namona.
Enhance your skills with SafeTech's part-funded training programs. At SafeTech, we provide courses including first aid, roadworks, people moving and handling, confined spaces, electrofusion and machinery training for Ireland and UK sites. Also online programs such as water hygiene, construction supervisors, safety reps and much more. If you have a group for training, SafeTech will go to you. Contact SafeTech today at safetech.ie and take the first step towards upskilling and safety compliance.
Harkins Fireplaces summer sale now on. 50% off selected fireplaces. Call 9141109 or visit their showroom in Ballybogan, Lifford. That's Harkins Fireplaces for a better choice of fireplace.
Stay tuned for more of today's Best in Country with the country boy, Tommy Rosny.
Rain, rain, come on down. You're so welcome at my door. Come on down and ease the pain. It never hurt this bad before. Tears keep falling from my eyes, and all I do is walk the floor. Ain't too hard to realize. There's not much love here anymore. Rain, rain, come blowing in. Wash these tears away, my friend. Leaving's cut me to the core. There's not much love here anymore. Not much love here anymore.
Gary McEvoy, my very special guest in the studio tonight, and a super version of an old Vince Gill song called "There's Not Much Love Here Anymore." Great version. Great.
Thank you, Tommy.
When you talk about musicians, it's great to do it right.
Yeah, that's one of those. That's a song that's been sort of hanging around, sort of me wanting to record it for years and years, you know. And eventually got the opportunity to do it with you know, super players, and it's just a dream come true, really. You know,
and as you say, been done with super players, but the production is good too. And just as we were playing that, Brian Kerrigan just accidentally asked me, say hello. Brian is great, isn't he?
Brian has come on something leaps and bounds over the last few years. He's the next big step for recording in Ireland, I think. Brian, he listens to you. He does, you know. He's always another pair of ears there. He's always looking for another pair of ears, you know. He's genuinely a great lad and very, very top class at his job. He's great at mixing.
Yeah, and that's what you need as well.
Yeah.
You know,
he was a big part of the plan for what I was doing in Nashville. Come back, give it to Brian. Let's mix it together. and then send it back again to Nashville. And I think for other artists out there, that's definitely a good way. It's a different way to go, but it's another option, really. For
and it's
artists.
great to see Brian too. I see there every so often that many local artists and national artists are going to Brian out to record their stuff.
Absolutely, and why not? So there you go. Like, I'm really happy with my, with the mixing that he done for me, and I've let a lot of other people in the music business hear it, professionals, and they says it's very good. So I'm really happy with that, Tommy.
Talking of which, an old friend of yours, Pius McFadden, says, do you remember the night Philomena Begley was out there in Rockhill?
I just says that when he says Pius says hello. How you doing, Pius? Great to hear from you, and I hope you're keeping well. Definitely, I remember out in Rockhill there. He used to run the dances out there, and he booked myself and Philomena for some great nights. I think he's booked us for a few nights,
Yeah.
Great memories, Pius. Great memories altogether.
Pius is a good lad. And come here, another man who I was talking to today asked me to say hello to Tommy Cunningham. I think he said
Tommy,
he used to play down in Downings, but
that's right.
With his brother or somebody related to him.
Tommy, that's right. We used to do I remember when you're talking about Downings, I remember the Fleets in it was then, Tommy. And we used to do it every Tuesday night with the Garth Brooks tribute. I'm sure a lot of listeners will remember on the Tuesday night down there. And they used to come out of the woodwork on a Tuesday night. We used to do July and August.
Yeah.
And I remember Bridget down there and John. I used to do the dealing with Bridget, lovely lady. God rest her soul, she passed away there not so long ago. And she was a great lady. She always made us tea and coffee and looked after us really well. It was fantastic. Great memories down in the Downings on Tuesday night. I wouldn't mind spending a few nights down there over the summer coming, hopefully.
Well, come here. You have 5 songs done already, and I believe you're going to go out to finish the album later on this year. What's the crack?
Well,
have you any of the songs chosen yet that you're going to...
I have a few in mind, one of the songs I really like is TJ Graham.
TJ Graham, yeah.
He does a song called Turn the Wine into Water.
That's right, that's a good song.
I'm going to give that a lash, so I'm sort of learning that at the moment. What I found too, Tommy, over the last while back since I had the time to listen to music, was I think the more you listen to it and the more you practice it, I think it does come out in the end result. Whereas before, when I was on the road, I was listening to stuff in a hurry.
Yeah.
Just listening in a hurry, and you weren't really listening to the finer details of some of the stuff. And don't get me wrong, the recordings would have been okay, but this time around, I'm listening to it and I really want to make a good country album this time before, I leave this world, as the man says. I want to have a really good, I have a few other albums done, but a real good country album of the music that I like.
And I must just tell our listeners too, for anybody out there, if you have any ideas, Gary is trying to think of a name for the album. And it's funny, Gary, it's hard to believe. It's hard to not have the hard copy of a CD. I know, yeah. I myself would listen to music when I'm in the car traveling. You can listen to music on the radio, all right, but if you want to listen to, I got a new CD there last week, and I've been listening to it in the car because when you get the MP3s, you're inclined to put on maybe 1 or 2 verses. If you can have a listen to the full album, you can see it.
It's all changed, hasn't it, Tommy?
A lot of songs down through the years, like 1 or 2 of those songs, that Finn Skills song now you recorded, it was on Finn Skills' album, The Key to Life.
That's right.
And it was a forgotten song. I never played it off that album.
Yeah.
And I just looked it up
too.
And I heard it was a Finn Skills song. I looked it up and I said, God.
Yeah, that album, The Key to Life, that is one of the best albums was ever recorded from any artist. It's just fantastic. It's funny you should say that about the MP3s and CDs. Yeah, you definitely miss songs now just with an MP3. But what I'm going to do a 12-track imaginary album then, or whatever way it's going to be in the air, basically. So I'm going to do the 12 tracks. I have 5 done already, and I'm looking for a name for the album. So if any of the listeners comes up with it, be great if you can Facebook me or anything, just Gary McEvoy, or even Tommy, just mention in a message to Tommy, maybe Tommy can pass it on to me. So we have the Nashville thing there. We have maybe some names of Nashville out there, Broadway or something like that, to include in the album. And we obviously do have an Irish connection there as well. So if somebody can come up with some ideas for that.
Come here, are you looking forward to getting out again later on the year?
Definitely.
I love it.
Definitely.
I love it. I haven't been out now since 2019.
I can't wait.
I love it. The only thing is it's a long old journey.
It's a long journey, Tommy, but it's worth it. Myself and Sharon went out there in February as well when we'd done 3 more tracks. And every time I go out now, I'll do 3 or 4 tracks, and then hopefully have the album finished by the end of the year. So, but going to listen, just going into the bars there, the honky tonks. There's so many of them there on Broadway, and then where we would stay out on Opryland, out beside the Grand Old Opry.
Yeah.
It's about 15 minutes outside out away from the Broadway, the sort of the Music Row, basically. There's a couple of great honky tonks out there, the Nashville Palace, Music City Bar and Grill, which is great. You can hear fantastic artists there, and it goes from like 12 o'clock midday to 2 in the morning, non-stop. You wouldn't get it anywhere.
I have to ask you about the wee man.
Who?
You're a wee man who won Glory Chair a couple of years ago. How's he getting on?
Gary's doing well, yeah. If anybody doesn't know, Gary goes on the name of Gary Fitzpatrick. Yeah. He's Gary McEvoy Jr., but Fitzpatrick is my mother's maiden name, and I hope my mum's listening tonight. She was trying to get hooked up digitally on her phone and everything, but anyway, I hope she's listening. Gary Fitzpatrick. Gary's doing very well. He's helping me out in our business, and he's cut the travelling back, and he's really, really happy. He has a wee baby there now. Him and Wendy's a new wee baby, and her name's Dana. And we have two other grandchildren as well, and Joshua and Ava. So if they're listening in, hello to them. And yeah, he's doing good. He's in a good place, and he's very, very busy with his new business as well. His new business going as well. So. And
you were busy over the rally weekend?
We were very busy over the rally. Oh, it was absolutely great. And just to say hello to all the rally listeners out there. You probably know me from selling the official merchandise in Letterkenny over the weekend, and I think I never seen crowds like it at the.
There was some crowd there this year.
Tommy, I'm going to Donegal International Rally every year since 1978, and I think that's the biggest one yet.
Well, come here. I'm going to let you go now. I won't have time to put on the next song until after the news because I have to take an ad break, but we're going to put it on.
It's been a pleasure, absolute pleasure.
I was delighted. It's great to have you up, and we'll have to get a name for this album and have a launch night some night.
That would be great, and thank you very much, and thanks to all the listeners, and thanks to Tommy, the country boy here, for having me up, and hopefully see you all in Nashville, hopefully.
Carrie, it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, Tommy, thank you.
And Sean has just arrived into the bar for a quick hello to the work crowd. He won't stop, he has a match in the morning. But wait, he's got the nod off the barman that there's Guinness 0-0 on tap. The chats are back on. Johnny's in full swing and a fresh pint is handed over the bar. Guinness 0-0, 100%.